All right, the Confederation of Sahel States, AES, which is made of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, our strong Pan-African leaders, revolutionary leaders, they flame up against the European Union Parliament. How many of you remember that video I posted about the European Union Parliament? If you've not watched it, check it out. The European Union Parliament flamed up with a conversation. The Parliament has exploded into a conversation, and this conversation is not connected to anything Europe. The conversation is directed to Africa and a portion of Africa, AES. And in that Parliament, a lot of things were said by every individual who stood to speak about the Sahel, specifically about Niger. I don't know why they dodged Mali and Burkina Faso and then went straight to Niger. I don't know why. And in that house, they are calling for the return of France. And according to them, the arrival of the military leader has worsened things in the country. And they pull out some figures who are displaced, a whole lot of things that they said. So the European Union Parliament passed a resolution on March 2026 about the situation which they themselves describe and formulate that these are things happening in Niger. They also call for the release of the 10 Nigerian figures, political figures, especially Mohamed Bazoum, the former president. So in the house, they made claims. According to them, General Tiani has worsened the situation when it comes to security-wise. 3 million of Nigerians are displaced because of insecurity, bad living condition, and other things that they added to it. And as I'm talking to you, even Nigerians are not aware that 3 million of them have been displaced. They are calling that Niger kick out the humanitarian organizations, foreign humanitarian organizations, especially the ones linked to Western institutions, on these Western humanitarian organizations, NGOs. They are calling that these NGOs need to come back to Niger, that there is no justification of kicking them out without mentioning the reason why Niger kicked them out. And then the AES has responded to them. Now, one of the things about the AES is that when you attack Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso will join and attack you back. If you attack Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso will join and attack you back. You attack Burkina, Mali, and Niger will team up and attack you back. So, in this case, Mali and Burkina Faso join together with Niger, send a befitting reply to the European Union. So the AES released a statement. In the statement, they responded with a very strong language. They did not hold back. They accused Europe of, number one, interfering in sovereignty. They said the resolution passed in the European Union Parliament is a serious and deliberate interference in Niger's internal affairs. Number two, the resolution and their comment are bias and misrepresentation of the things happening in Niger. They made it clear that the EU has a partial and biased view of the situation in Niger. They are speaking of things that should favor them. They are speaking not because they care about the people of Niger, but they are speaking because they care about their own interest. Their own interest is at risk, and I'll tell you about that. Now, the third point the AES made is that this is completely political manipulation by the European Union Parliament. They accuse the European Union Parliament of using democracy as a political tool to interfere in a sovereign nation. According to the AES, the fourth point they release is that this is paternalism and neo-colonial attitude because of the approach of the European Union. They describe the tone of the EU as condescending, paternalistic, and disrespectful to African sovereignty. And they made some claim also. They said that their position is clear. They don't sit down to discuss Europeans in their country, and therefore Europeans don't have the right to sit there and discuss them in their parliament. In their parliament, they talk about their internal affair. They don't discuss other people. So therefore, why are they gossiping about them? Now,
God have mercy upon us.
So it's gossip, right? It's gossip. If you are talking about people and putting your nose in matters that doesn't concern you, I mean, what's up? Now, The AES made it clear that the European Union, the Western side, whenever they're having conversation, they always try to undermine the efforts of their military, their efforts to combat terrorism, and which is practically against their own principle. Because when you talk about European Union, almost every time they made it clear that they are into counter-terrorism. You will not hear them talking about Africa without talking about counter-terrorism. And in the video I posted about the things they said in the European Union, they made some claims that under Mohamed Bazoum has been one of the partners that they collaborate with to combat terrorism. They have been there since Tete. Terrorism never left Niger. What were they doing all this year? It was through the new leader that terrorism is now going down in Niger. Yet, they always try to use every possible means to undermine the effort of the soldiers on the field. When there is terrorist attack in Niger, you see them coming out to condemn it, and then they will find ways and means to link the blame to the leader, the military leader. But when the soldiers have victory, they are nowhere to be found in the conversation. They spoke also about the NGOs. According to the AES, they are not the only people on the continent of Africa talking about the attitude of the NGOs, how some of the NGOs are supporting these cow engineers who are with AK-47 and they are disturbing the peace of the community in the Sahel in Nigeria. The chief of defense of Nigeria also came out and then laid claim against the NGOs operating in Nigeria. And he called that they need a strict guidance to guide these people. They need to follow them and then understand everything they are doing. One of the things about the NGOs and these humanitarian organizations is that when they come to the country, they don't want the country, the government to know their movement and how they are operating. They want to keep things secret. According to Nigerian Chief of Defense, he made it clear that since the time that they have started trying to track these people, they saw that certain things became normal in Nigeria. When there is attack on any community, you are going to see these people, they will come and be sympathetic. First of all, they will come and support the community, and then they later go back to support the terrorists also, which is the reason why every country, he made it clear that every country needs to pay attention to the NGOs operating in their country because their activities are not correct, especially the foreign one. That is the reason why Niger kicked them out, because their activities are not correct. Mali kicked them out. Burkina Faso kicked them out. It is because of something. But in the parliament, European Union Parliament, they didn't mention this. They went straight to attack General Tiani, making claims that because of him, the tea activity in the region has become increasing, which is a lie. I said it's a lie. So the AES added advice that they shouldn't be partial when they are talking about things like this. They should try their best to stand on truth rather than coming to lie in the parliament. It is because of their interest. The European Union, I think it is time for the AES to set a standard for all these Europeans coming to try to make deal with them. They should set a serious standard because it is a fact that every given opportunity, it is to use to undermine the leaders in the Sahel. I said it in my previous video that the European Union Parliament is even discussing Africa than the African Union. Look, if these people today in the European Union Parliament, and they are claiming that the coming of General Tiani has increased the terrorist activity in the region, why are they not talking same about Nigeria? The tea activity in Nigeria is worse than the entire Sahel right now as we are speaking. In Nigeria, it's like every week. It's either there's kidnapping somewhere, a village is being burned, or the soldiers are there, the police. Every week something new is coming from the cow engineers in the bush, the invisible army in the bush in Nigeria. I'm telling you the truth. So the situation in Nigeria under democratic governance is even worse than it is under the military governance in Niger. That is one thing they are not seeing. But of course, because of the fact that they are in bed with the Nigerian authority, they are not going to say anything about it. They are quiet. Now, why are they attacking General Tiani? This is very simple for everybody to understand. It is their interest. General Tiani is not giving them the room or the opportunity to operate in the country as they were operating under Bazoum, the former president. Under the former president, every deal strike by the European Union with Niger is strictly in the favor of the European Union. Every Western deal is strictly in the favor of the West. it is not reflecting the will of the people. It is not respecting the sovereignty of the people. Now a new leader is on board and their interest is threatened. You see, I want us to understand something. When it comes to the Sahel, between Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, one of the countries that these people are interested in grabbing back is Niger because of the uranium. I'm telling you the truth. Niger is so vital to France together with the entire Europe. I'm telling you the truth. Do you know that in the European Union Parliament, they are calling that France needs to come back because the absence of France in Niger, it has caused a problem. And all the accusation of General Tiani against France is not true. And of the fact that General Tiani has declared war against France, of course, he did that. And one of the reason why he did that is because he has accused France of sponsoring the T groups against him. Almost all of his speech, when it's about this T group, he always accuse France. And whenever he accuses France, he will not leave France there like that. He always move forward to attack Ivory Coast, also Benin, added to it. These are the people who, every time they are in his mouth. So one day he wake up and they say, the countries should understand that the people who are sponsoring the T group against them, they are declare war against them. So when they are dealing with the T group, they are dealing with everybody, including Ivory Coast, Benin, and France. The European Union Parliament condemned this and said General Tiani need to step down. Step down for who, man? Who the hell do you think you are? So Burkina Faso and Mali join hand and they release a statement. You know that Ibrahim Traoré is the new leader of the AES, right? He's the president of the AES currently. Assimi Goïta handed it over to him. I think after 1 year, the leadership will switch to General Tiani. Opinions, they say, are not the same. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.